Is there about to be too much Star Wars? The old saying goes, too much of a good thing. Blah, 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 blah. In most instances, that is saying there can really be too much of anything you love. But in Star Wars, is there such a thing as too much? With The Bad Batch Season 2 underway, the first season of the Cassian Andor series finished, and with even more future projects on their way soon, it can really be confusing to keep up with. But let's look at how Star Wars has been in the past and how it relates to current and future Star Wars shows and movies. Are you a Star Wars fanatic or even just a casual fan who likes hearing more about the greatest franchise ever created? If so, welcome home, because Star Wars is all I talk about. So if the galaxy far, far away is your thing, then go on and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my in-depth discussions. You are all appreciated so much more than I can say. Now, let's get on with today's topic. When Solo: A Star Wars Story released in theaters, the turnout was less than what anyone had hoped for a Star Wars movie. The reason for the box office lackluster performance was due to many factors in the Star Wars fandom and otherwise. We were just coming off The Last Jedi 6 months prior, and let's face it, fans hated it. Not all, but about half. After The Last Jedi, there was this whole boycott Star Wars thing going around, and a lot of people attribute that to the low turnout for Solo. But is that really the case? I mean, the sequel to The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, killed it in the box office, and Solo: A Star Wars Story wasn't even related to The Last Jedi in any way. Look, I could go on and on about the reasons given for Solo: A Star Wars Story not performing up to par with other Star Wars projects. But let's take the reason given to us by the execs at Lucasfilm: Star Wars fatigue. Yeah, I'm going to call BS on that one. It just wasn't the movie we wanted at the time, and they spent way too much money on it. That's how I see it anyway. It was a solid movie, but it didn't really show us anything we didn't already know, other than Maul, formerly Darth Maul, being the one behind the Crimson Dawn. But let's backtrack a moment. Star Wars fatigue. If that's the case, then why did The Rise of Skywalker perform well at the box office just a year and a half later? And half the fans hated that film, but that isn't all. The Mandalorian Season 1 began just over a month before The Rise of Skywalker came out, and it's seen as one of the pinnacles of the new Star Wars era. And every show since then has done almost as well. Hate them or love them, the viewership's there. Kenobi, The Book of Boba Fett, Andor, The Mandalorian Season 2, and now The Bad Batch and The Clone Wars Season 7, all performing beyond expectations. Let me clarify, I'm not saying everyone loves everything coming out of the new era of Star Wars. I'm just saying they were watched. But let's go even further back to understand if Star Wars fatigue is a real thing. We had 6 films up until 2005. All of which performed very well in theaters, but there was no way to be fatigued from them due to how spread apart they were. But what about the novels, video games, and comics? It seems there was a new expanded Star Wars story coming out every other week, yet we ate it up. Ask any older Star Wars fan who Mara Jade is, and most will be able to tell you, with a smile. And there were so many stories created that it literally became hard to keep up with. The difference between that period is that now we don't have to read the stories or play them in a video game, although they are there for our enjoyment. We can relax on our favorite piece of furniture and give no effort to either enjoy the new storytelling or hate it. And there doesn't seem to be any slowing down in their productions. If anything, it's ramping up. And that isn't including the novels, comics, and really slow releases to the games. Yeah, EA. Sorry, you've dropped so many balls that you've outdone a mid-pubescent 6th grade classroom. Disappointing. But the question remains, is there too much Star Wars? Like the old expanded universe, it's beginning to get confusing for some casual fans. When does the Ahsoka series take place? And what the hell is the High Republic? Of course, I know the answers to these questions, but I'm a Star Wars-obsessed nerd. Not everyone is. I feel like I have to ingest as much of it as I can. Now, whether it's good or not is a topic for another conversation. I just like reading and watching as much as I can. But to me, there can never be too much Star Wars. To me, that's never enough. Not because I have a YouTube channel, but because I could spend every day watching or reading something new, even if I didn't have a channel. And I have a feeling there are a lot of Star Wars fans like me out there. For instance, the Star Wars novel from the High Republic, Light of the Jedi, topped the New York Times bestseller list. Does that sound like fatigue to you? How many of you are dying to see Din Djarin and Grogu return in The Mandalorian Season 3? Seriously, Boba Fett should get some kind of redemption in that one. And how many of you are wishing the Cassian Andor series had went ahead and filmed 2 seasons together, so you wouldn't have to wait 2 years for the second season? And when the heck is the Acolyte going to show up? We need some live-action High Republic stuff, seriously. My point is, I don't understand why Lucasfilm would tell us there was Star Wars fatigue when Solo, a Star Wars story, underperformed, when everything else since then has gone above and beyond. Again, viewer numbers, not how well each project was received. Wait, I do know the reason, and I'll get more into that. I know you think the sequels, The Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi, were trash. This isn't about that. You're allowed to have your feelings, and I'll never step on those. Okay, back to the expanded universe. Modern Star Wars is much like that. There is so much out there that we're able to pick and choose what we want to consume. We don't have to like it all. Trust me, Dark Empire was not my favorite story. But then again, you don't need Kenobi nor the Book of Boba Fett to enjoy other aspects of the newer storytelling. And those stories aren't necessary to even enjoy the old stuff. Has the Obi-Wan Kenobi series changed the way you look at A New Hope? Does it make Revenge of the Sith less enjoyable? Not at all. Did Dark Empire make me hate the original Thrawn trilogy? No, I loved Heir to the Empire and still do. So if you look at the new Star Wars series, movies, and print media the way we used to view the expanded universe, and most of us still do, then we realize there is never too much Star Wars, and the fatigue bit was just a way for Lucasfilm to back out of the anthology films to focus on the upcoming Disney Plus platform. Solo, a Star Wars story, was plagued to make little money as soon as they fired Lord and Miller from the director's chairs and hired one of the most expensive directors in Hollywood to finish it. It was doomed when they didn't market it well, and it was doomed when they made a movie. A lot of Star Wars fans questioned the reasoning behind the subject matter. Han Solo? Why? We know everything we need to know about him. But it actually turned out to be pretty decent. Too bad more people didn't go see it. But it is what it is. If Solo was only made for my enjoyment, then I'm fine with that. But don't tell me it's because we're tired of Star Wars releases when everything since has overperformed expectations financially. And it looks like everything in the future will do just as well financially. I mean, who doesn't want to see Jude Law in Star Wars? And what about Bill Burr's performance in The Mandalorian? Great stuff. Okay, I didn't mean this to be a rant, but I would love to hear from you. Is there too much Star Wars now, or do you think of it as each project will be viewed if it's in your interest? Pick and choose. Me, I have to watch it all because I'm either stupid or obsessed. Probably the latter, maybe the prior, who knows. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Be good to each other. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way. And positivity in the Star Wars community is the only way.